Hi guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and I was planning on doing a review of this knife for Wednesday, and this is the Sanrenmu MC 715. It's an older knife of theirs, and so it does need to get a review before it becomes no longer available at all. And even at Gear Best, you can only get it now with the black colored wooden scales. It gives a really nice hand feel, but you can see this. I cut my finger. It's like about 20 hours ago now. It took 4 hours at the hospital before a doctor was actually available to help me out. 7 stitches later, I got a Band-Aid. I ended up cutting along the side of my finger, and on this index finger, on the outside edge, between these two knuckles, almost the full length between these two knuckles. If you're queasy, the picture's coming very soon. Don't watch it. But I know some of you people like to look at these kinds of things, so I'm going to show you a picture of what that looks like. So I'll tell you when the picture is past. Okay, that picture's gone. So those of you who are curious get to see that. The rest of you get to look at a Band-Aid. And because this is a right-hand only thumb stud, it means I have to open it like that if I use my right hand. But if I can hold it properly, it's really easy to flick open really well. It's got a really good action to it. And, that's why we're not doing this guy yet. When the swelling goes down on this finger and it becomes completely mobile again, probably while the stitches are still on it, but we'll see. Then maybe I'll do this video. Until then, this is what we're looking at today. This is a slip joint by Sanrenmu. So there's no fast action to be had anyway, so I can easily do it with my self-made injury. This is the large brother of the 4112. Again, I thought I did a review of the 4112. I have it in my best of 2016 Wee Knife video, but I didn't actually review it. And I've already given it away to, I think I gave that one to one of my nephews, or it was one of my nieces back in Ontario. So that's like 3,000 kilometers away. I can't easily go get it. But it looks identical to this knife, except for in color and size. That knife is, if we go to about there, and if we covered up the rest here, let's do it this way. It's about that long, the full length. From the very tip of the blade to the end of the handle, exactly the same styling and everything. 4112, this is the 7112. So the one size up, identical knife, identical construction. Everything's exactly the same except for the size. So you'll have to content yourself with taking a look at the 7112. And if you want a small version of this knife, and it's excellent too. The detent on the opening and closing it is right about there at 45. There's a detent that stops right there. The smaller one does the exact same thing, and it's a very nice little knife. Unfortunately, at Gear Best, it's only available in gray. But this guy is listed, I think, for 6 or 7 different colors at Gear Best right now. A couple of those colors are not available. I think the blue has been discontinued, and the price has not been adjusted on the blue one for a while. And the price of the blue one is like 25% higher than all the other colors. So the price is actually not bad at all. I'll list the prices a little bit later. But there are several different prices for these. Some colors are on a wait list, so you can, when you see them on the website, you can put in your address, your email address, and they will email you when it's available. But there's a number of colors that are definitely available. Aluminum handle scales, 8CR13 MOV steel blade, full hollow grind, and good detent on this slip joint. I like this knife an awful lot. Nice little lanyard hole, and I tend to carry it on my keychain because this knife, even though it's larger, it's not a wee knife. It's not in my wee knife category because it's a full 3-finger a full 3-finger hold, and I've got large fingers. I can almost get a 4th finger back there. Just a little bit I can. Since it's, a good hold that way, it's not a wee knife in the way I categorize it anyways. But I'm starting to ramble on, and we want to get to the full tabletop review. So stick around for the tabletop review of the 7112. Coming at you right now. This knife still has its factory edge on it, and that's because I use stones that I need to make wet when I sharpen, and I don't want to make this wet yet. I know I could put a finger condom on it to protect it, but I just don't want it to get all wet, and so I haven't done that yet. It's got factory edge on here, which has got a pretty good grind on it. And you can see right there. And fairly sharp still, and so I'll show you how well it cuts from the factory edge, which is pretty good. Why don't we do that first? I never do that first, so let's do that first. Got some 7-strand paracord here. We've got 3 strands of paracord on here. Cuts through that quite easily, not a problem there. We've got some regular printer copy paper. Cuts that way quite easily. Let's see if it cuts on the end. I got a little bit of a nick in there. Yeah. So let's try some slicing action. Okay, it slices through, slices through, slices through, straight down, cuts through that pretty good. Yep, cuts quite well. Got a nice sharpener's choil. It looks like there's a couple of different colors there when I move it back and forth like this. It looks like I've got black and gray. So if I'm looking at this end right here, what I'm seeing is, this is the middle. That's the shiny steel part. And then what we've got is this. And the same thing on this side. And there's a bit of a space here. Actually, that black area is this space right here. So that's what it looks like. Of course, that's a terrible drawing in comparison, but that's what you get. And that's what gives this thing its good grip, as well as its good looks. It's a very light little knife. You can easily just put it in your coin pocket, your watch pocket, whatever you want to call that pocket. Or even if you want to use that pocket, you can use the pocket clip in that pocket and it'll easily hold your knife, no problem. You don't need a big pocket at all. You've got just about a centimeter, just under a centimeter sticking out. That's about 1/3 of an inch sticking out of your pocket. And that clip is quite firm, it holds quite well. Oh, I couldn't quite see it going in that pocket, could you? There you go. Yes, on the right side, it's blade forward. When this is in your pocket, that's not a danger at all. First off, it's tipped down, and then it's a slip joint, and so it just wants to stay closed. It's got a strong spring pulling it closed all the time. Even if I've got it down, like facing down, it pulls up. It doesn't want to open. And that's what a proper slip joint is supposed to be. So although some people might argue that this is a left side tip down pocket clip, I really don't care. It goes in either pocket just fine, totally safe. Carry it wherever you want to. It's going to stay closed. There's nothing here for the blade to catch on, to open up. It just won't. And that's a really good thing. We've got a nail nick over there, and you don't really need the nail nick. I just do a pinch grip and open it up. It stops at a detent right there. That's about a 45-degree angle right there between this angle and this angle. And you can hear how strong it is when it opens all the way. This back piece of steel here, the entire length of it is a spring, that whole piece, and that energy of that whole long spring is what holds it open. And that's a really good thing. There's no jimping anywhere. It doesn't need it, unless you want to call this stuff on the side jimping. But that little bit of texture on the side helps give you a really good grip. The pocket clip, helps give your thumb a little bit extra grippiness as well. I tend to take these pocket clips right off, and I just drop these in my coin pocket like I mentioned earlier. Certainly for the smaller version, the 4112, which again is the exact same knife, only it's that long all told, including the blade from heel to the tip of the blade. It's only, what is the full length of that thing? 4 inches, 10.2 centimeters is the full length of the other one. This guy is 15.85 centimeters, 6¼ inches, the full length. So a whole 2¼ inches longer than the small brother of this knife. Since I'm starting with the dimensions, let's get to the rest of the dimensions as well, and we'll zoom in a little bit to do that. I like to zoom in so that you can take a good close look at the knife while it's sitting there. So the choil to the tip of the blade, 2.26 centimeters, that's 2.47 inches. Blade length, so from the tip of the handle there to the tip of the blade, is 6.8 centimeters, 2.68 inches. So certainly within the 3-inch laws that some people have to live with. And since it's a slip joint, hey, it fits almost everything. Since a 2-hand opening slip joint, this thing's legal almost everywhere in the world. And that's a good thing because it's a really nice knife. For those of you guys, especially in North America, who just balk at slip joints, come on, guys. Yes, it's good to have locking knives, and I'm totally for locking knives, but you're missing out on an awful lot of really nice knives, especially really nice budget knives, if you just stay away from slip joints. They aren't that dangerous. You know, this cut that I got right here, that was on a frame lock knife. You know, it's not from a slip joint. I've never cut myself badly at all with a slip joint. I've hardly ever cut myself badly. Well, but be that as it may, any knife can cut you, and it has much less to do with the knife than it does with the person holding it. Yes, I blame myself 100% for my cut, not my knife. Okay, going on. Blade thickness. And I measured right here at the pivot end of the blade. 2.43 millimeters, that's 0.0955 inches, so almost 1/10 of an inch thick. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, oh, I'm loving it on this thing, 0.4 millimeters. You know, what my target is for maximum is 0.5, so 0.4 is just great, especially on a sub 3-inch knife. Oh, this is about 2.5-inch cutting edge, perfect blade thickness. And that full hollow grind, you'll be able to sharpen this thing a number of times before it gets, you know, so thick that it doesn't cut reasonably well. So this is a knife that can last you for a very long time. A lot of different sharpenings. Handle length. The full handle length is 8.88 centimeters, 3.5 inches. The grip area, so starting back here with my thumbnail to the end of the thumbnail over here, 7.27 centimeters, 2.85 inches, or 86 inches, I should say. The handle thickness, not counting the pocket clip, is 7.5 millimeters. That's 0.295 of an inch, so almost 0.3 of an inch. And the handle depth, and I'm talking about this distance between my finger and thumb, since it's a variable thickness, you know, it gets thicker at the end here and a little bit thicker at this end here and thinner in the middle. I just sort of average it out to 1.5 centimeters, 0.59 of an inch. The total length of this knife, I already mentioned it to you, but 15.85 centimeters, 6.24 inches. It weighs 36 grams, which is 1¼ ounces. That's why I really don't mind having it on a keychain. You've got a large enough hole there to put a nice split ring on it. And what I try to find is a split ring that when it folds over, it's not going to come over this edge here. You want the split ring to stop right here before it comes over, because if it's over on this side, then when you go to close the blade, it's going to hit that split ring and chip the end of your blade, the sharp cutting edge. I'll show you some pictures of it on a keychain. Price. I don't know why they do this. You would think that the same model in no matter what color it is would be one price. But nope. You've got 7 different models, I think, 7 different colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 different colors. And I think you've got 6 different prices. So let's talk about them. The blue one is the most expensive one, and the blue one is discontinued. So I won't even mention the blue price because it's at least 1/4 to 1/3 more than all the others. So US dollars, you're looking at $6.04 to $7.43. In Canadian dollars, you're looking at $7.79 to $9.65 each knife. In euros, you're looking at 5.14 to 6.37 euros. And in pounds sterling, it's 4 pounds 55 pence or 5 pounds and 64 pence. And almost anything in between. There's that range, as I mentioned before. Fit and finish on this knife. Well, take a look at it. It's very, very good. There's nothing that's way off except for, hopefully we can get a nice close-up of this. Take a look at the grind on the blade there. It kind of is nice here, and then it gets thicker there, or it goes up higher up on the blade there. See that? If I had two hands to show you, I would. When I go to sharpen it, it's going to become much more consistent, but that's because we've got probably about a 20-degree angle here and probably about an 18-degree angle here. So it's got a little bit of that going on. Same thing on this side. Same type of thing on this side. Easy squeezy to fix, especially since this is 8CR13 MOV, Rockwell of about 57. It'll sharpen very easily and very well. And you've got the extra security of having a sharpener's choil and a nice plunge. So you're not going to sharpen onto the side of the plunge here or on the ricasso. It's easy to keep that nice and clean when you go to sharpen it. And I can clamp off of just this little bit right here. Or I am going to be getting another way of sharpening knives on my TS Prof. Ways that can hold either, full flat grind or a full hollow grind like this. It's a conical clamp for that system that can do it. Or you can just sharpen it by hand or with one of our Lansky systems, or like my 4-rod system for the Lansky. That's a really nice system. If you still need to get a Christmas gift for somebody, something like that 4-rod Lansky kit is a really good idea. Somebody who's into knives but maybe doesn't have an awful lot of stuff for sharpening, it's a nice portable kit that you can use to tune up an edge easily, and almost anybody can do it without much of a learning curve. I'll put a link to that review at the very end of this video for you guys, just to make it easy for you to find it. Pros and cons of this knife. There's loads of pros. I really like the texture on the side here. I mentioned the up-down texture on it, the ridged section. This full flat grind is really nice. You can sharpen it so many times before it starts getting thick. The detent on the slip joint is very positive, very strong. You can see how much of that spring is sticking out there, and that strength holds that thing in place very, very well. Same thing when it's closed. That adds an awful lot of security to it when it's closed. I like that everything's Torx. If you did need to take it apart, which you probably shouldn't, I'm not taking it apart and showing you the spring, the washers or anything. It's just not that big of a deal on a slip joint. It's got a nice lanyard hole. Pocket clip's easy to remove if you don't want it. Yes, I do wish they would have put the pocket clip screws on the end here as well, so you could wear it either way. They could have put that lanyard hole just a little bit over, maybe a little bit smaller even. Even if it was a little bit smaller, you could still fit 7-strand paracord through there, no problem. But, it is what it is right now, so that's a slight negative. I wish they would make this knife in a liner lock or a frame lock. That would be cool. Sanrenmu, are you listening, guys? This is a really good knife for you to change, to make different options on it. I like that they've got a whole lot of colors for it. I like that it's so super light, only 1.25 ounces. Wow. And that's about it. That's about all I have to say about this knife. I really, really like it an awful lot. If you want one of these, please use my links in the description below so that I get a tiny little bit of a commission out of it. If you want to help me out, great. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, even better. Patreon supporters get a chance every month to win a knife, and the knife's going to have a value. I think almost always it'll have a value of at least $25 US, probably more. And that's if you become a Patreon supporter for $2 or more per month. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting. I try to reply to all the comments. Lately, it's sometimes been taking me a day or two to get to all the comments, but I do read them all, and I try to reply to every single one of them. And it's time for me to shut up and say goodbye, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, always cut towards your chum. And not your finger, and not your thumb.